Greetings, medical wildcats. I'm Joseph Guggenheim. I'm a 1972 alum of the medical school, and today's presentation is on pediatrics at Northwestern. This is a two-part series I began last month. It's really on the pediatric hospitals at Northwestern. Last month was on Children's Memorial, and this month we will be doing Lurie Children's Hospital. On the right, you can see Ann and Robert H. Bob Lurie, two philanthropists from Chicago whose philanthropy has touched the lives of many people all over the world. The first children's hospital in Chicago was Children's Memorial, and this was built in 1882. It was opened by a wealthy widow in the Lincoln Park area, Julia Porter, and she paid the bills for all the children for many years. The hospital served the children for 130 years, and then Lurie Children's was built. This was originally built as a pavilion-style hospital, that is, multiple low-rise buildings. It was thought that by building separate buildings to house the children, it would reduce the risk of contagion, but it took up a large footprint. In 1957, the board at Children's Memorial considered building a modern hospital to replace the pavilion-style hospital. That is, they were going to build a bed tower type hospital. A consultant at the time recommended moving to the medical school campus. The directors considered the move several times between 1967 and 73. They voted twice to remain in the Lincoln Park area, so that is where the Children's Memorial stood for many years. The search for a new site began in 2005. Many sites were considered, and then they settled for the medical school site downtown. In 2006, the board voted to move to the Northwestern Medical School campus. The hospital is named after Ann and Robert Lurie. Robert Bob Lurie died from colon cancer in 1990. Shortly after his death, one of their children developed salmonella sepsis from eating a contaminated piece of chicken. The prognosis was dire, but the doctors at Children's Memorial saved the child. The board then approached Mrs. Lurie about making a major donation to the hospital, but she held out until they agreed to move to the downtown campus. In 2006, the directors announced plans to build an entirely new children's hospital downtown. So this was 16 years after the child got sick. A campaign raised $675 million to build a new hospital, including a transformational gift that Mrs. Lurie made of $100 million. The hospital was to be built on the old Galter carriage house site. You can see in the picture, the artist's picture on the right, the Prentice Hospital on the left of the new building, and the American Dental Association building on the right. The price tag for the new hospital was going to be $915 million. This would be amounting to $3.1 million for each of the 288 beds. There are now 360 beds in the hospital. This was one of the most expensive hospitals ever built, and the reason was they were squeezing a 23-story hospital onto a 1.8 acre urban plot. The previous footprint for Children's Memorial was 6 acres. The hospital was going to contain over 1.2 million square feet, twice the area of the old Children's Memorial. Mrs. Lurie visited the site multiple times during the construction and the demolition of the Galter carriage house. She became on a first-name basis with the construction supervisor, nicknamed Bubba, and she inspired Bubba to adopt elements of her vegetarian lifestyle, and it is said that Bubba lost 20 pounds during the hospital construction. The lower picture is the groundbreaking ceremony in 2008, and you can see Mrs. Lurie, the second person on from the left. The hospital has many unique features, one of them being that it was a collaborative effort of 3 architectural firms. Anderson Mikos from nearby Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois, designed the procedural floors. They had worked with hospitals in the area for almost 30 years. ZGF, a firm in Los Angeles, had extensive experience with medical design. And Solomon Cordwell Bunce of Chicago had experience building high-rise buildings. The building was designed as a composition of giant building blocks. You can see the upper left block and the lower right block, and these corresponded to the function. The upper block is the area for the children's inpatient beds, and the lower block contains the ED, diagnostic imaging, and the procedure rooms, as well as outpatient facilities. The hospital used evidence-based design instead of just repeating the same errors that had been made in the past. You can see on the right the black and white picture of Children's Memorial in 1930. The beds are very close to each other. There is no room for parents or family members. And I like the way the nurses have the little starched white hats, which we never see anymore. The picture on the left shows a bed room from Lurie Children's, and you can see it as a private room, very spacious. And this is designed to reduce infections and noise, enhance healing, and promote privacy, and also to allow families plenty of room to stay with the children. Another feature is the acuity adaptable rooms, as seen in the Regenstein Cardiac Care Unit on the upper floors. This allows children to stay in the same bed, whether they are on one cardiac service, a cardiology service, or the cardiac heart surgery service, without transferring from one unit to another. There's decentralized nursing. That is, there is a nurse for every 2 beds instead of having a central nursing station in the center of the floor. There's also access to sunlight and views of nature, which children found very important to healing. The hospital has partnered with the Center for Health Design and the Pebble Project, 2 collaborative efforts to utilize the innovations that have been utilized at one hospital to improve the other member hospitals. The ED is on the 2nd floor and contains 45 beds. This is contrary to the tradition of having the ED on the ground level. By putting it on the 2nd floor, it protects it from community disasters such as floods. There are 6 ambulance bays on the street level and dedicated elevators to the area of the most acute care on the 2nd floor. Simulations were run before the hospital was built to decide whether to put the ED with the ambulance bays on the 1st floor or the 2nd floor, but it was discovered that by doing simulations that having ambulances go up a steep ramp, especially in icy weather, and then backing into the ambulance bay and unloading actually took more time than unloading on the 1st floor and going up to the 2nd floor with a dedicated elevator. This also allows more bed space than putting the ED and the ambulance bays on either the 1st floor or the 2nd floor together. Families that arrive by private car can enter the 1st floor at the street level or go to the ED on the 2nd floor by parking in the garage across the street and then utilizing the bridge across the street to go to the ED on the 2nd floor. You can see in this picture of the 1st and 2nd floor, the humpback whale with her calf. These were sculptures that were donated by the Shedd Aquarium. Floors 3 through 8 contain the outpatient clinics, the procedural care, and the diagnostic testing. In this picture of the diagnostic imaging department, you can see the whimsical decor that is used to put the kids at ease. The corridor on the way to the operating room shows butterflies, which are symbols of endurance, change, hope, and life. One thing that makes this hospital unique is that multiple cultural institutions from Chicago donated their expertise to the design and decor of the hospital. Before the hospital was built, more than 20 members of the Chicago's Cultural Icon Group met at the Museum of Contemporary Art to discuss decorating the hospital. The Shedd Aquarium, for example, donated a sculpture of the humpback whale as seen on the previous slide, and 2,000-gallon coral garden. The catering service donated a replica of Captain Streeter's boat, for whom Streeterville is named. The Pierce Manufacturing Company, which makes fire engines, donated a custom fire truck. These ideas were shared with and approved by the Parents and Kids Advisory Board. You can see these pictures of the aquatic theme on the 1st and 2nd floor, donated by the Shedd Aquarium. The Botanic Gardens donated realistic images of nature to help reduce stress and pain and confusion, and the hospital has a horticultural therapy department. The Art Institute Chicago donated 49 reproductions of paintings and other works from their collection, including this very famous picture. Among the other more than 20 institutions that contribute to the hospital are the following. The 11th floor is the main public space. This is in contrast to most hospitals where the main public space is on the street level. The 11th floor contains the sky lobby, the gift shop, the restaurant area, and the conference center. And one very beautiful feature of the 11th floor is the Crown Sky Garden. This was designed by the world-renowned landscape architect Mick Young Kim, who worked closely with the Crown family and others to design this beautiful setting, which occupies the 11th and 12th floor. I recommend you put the presentation on pause and read the description of the sky lobby on this slide, and another future one that I will show. The hospital consulted with the hospital's Kids Advisory Board and the Family Advisory Board to see what they wanted, and they learned that the kids wanted sunshine. Some of these children are in the hospital for weeks or even months at a time and really wanted to be able to see nature and sunshine. The Sky Garden is built cantilevering over the lower floors from the 11th and 12th floor. This was not part of the original plan of the hospital, but the Kids Advisory Board wanted it. And here's another picture of the interior of the Crown Sky Garden. You can see the bamboo barriers that separate the area of active play from the areas of quiet respite. There's an interactive light wall that changes colors and brightness. The wooden benches are carved from trees that were planted before the Chicago Columbian Exposition in 1893. And the decor includes light, sound, water, and wood. On the 12th floor, one floor above the main garden, the main Crown Sky Garden, is the Founder's Treehouse. And this is for children with severe immune deficiencies that otherwise would not be able to play in the 11th floor Crown Garden. It is framed by the bamboo canopies of the 11th floor. It includes sections of wood and printed surfaces of sky, birds, and leaves to serve as a relaxation for the kids. The 12th floor houses the Interfaith Chapel. This is an area, a quiet area where families and staff can go to meditate and pray. On the 12th floor is also the fire engine cab donated by the Pierce Company and the local fire department. Chicago Fire Department Engine Company 98 is just around the corner from Lurie Children's. The Pierce Company built a custom cab for the children to play on. This is not a retrofitted old cab, but an entirely new cab they built so the children can play. It is accessible to children of all ages and abilities. After they built it, they discovered that they had a slight problem. That was how to elevate this huge fire truck to the 12th floor, but it was accomplished with some difficulty, however. The 12th floor also houses the Panda Care Center of Hope. This is a medical-free area. Children do not receive injections or have IVs started in this area. It is an area where they can escape the medical care aspect of their hospitalization. There's a toddler play area, teen lounge, game area, hair salon, and living room. The hospital also has their own television network called Skylight TV, which originates from this 12th floor facility. Another unique feature of the hospital is the Chicago Institute for Fetal Health. This does research and care of pregnant women with fetal complications. There are bridges directly from Prentice to Lurie hospitals where patients can be transported back and forth. The director of this center, which is one of only 9 in the United States, is Dr. Chauvin. He has a short video on YouTube, and I would recommend that you take a look at the amazing work that this center is doing. They perform corrective fetal intervention. There's multidisciplinary care involving more than 20 adult and pediatric subspecialists. They perform minimally invasive surgery for heart and lung problems, spina bifida, and other fetal problems. The hospital has a heliport. At first, the neighbors thought that this would be too much noise, but in the 6-month period from January through June 2021, there were only 36 landings, and some of them were done for pilot training. So it wasn't as bad as the neighbors thought. But the hospital staff meets on a regular basis with the neighbors in order to discuss problems of mutual concern. The heliport is on the top floor, and there are direct elevators. As you can see, the red line that goes from the top floor to the second floor ED. This is a direct route to the most acute area, the area of most acute care in the ED. There's another red elevator going from the street level to the second floor ED, which you can see in the lower part of the picture. So the red elevators are for emergencies. The yellow ones are the public elevators, and the pink ones are for patients. You can see how the hospital is divided at the 11th and 12th floor into inpatient and outpatient care, as well as procedures on the lower section. Research has always been part of pediatric care at Northwestern. The Mann Research Institute, where pediatric research is now performed, is housed in the Simpson Query Research Building on the south side of Chicago Avenue, across from the Lurie Children's. Previously, the research was done at Children's Memorial Research Center and Mary Ann and J. Wilburn Smith Child Research Program, both located in the Lincoln Park area, close to the old Children's Memorial. I'd like to thank Dr. Erwin Bennick for his help with this presentation, and I would recommend his forum that he will be giving at Alumni Weekend this year. Because of COVID, we will not be able to have hospital tours, but Dr. Bennick is going to be leading a forum on the amazing work that is being done at Children's Hospital. I will also recommend that you attend this program. Early bird registration ends on February 27th, and it will be another outstanding program. There will be lectures by the members of the Feinberg faculty, some of them offering CME credit, and it will be a chance to reunite with old friends, see some Chicago landmarks, and see the new facilities on the campus if you haven't been there in a while. So let's get together again next month virtually. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to a virtual visit again next month and hope to see you at Alumni Weekend. Thank you.